Yeah, I might buy a new camera just because. Alright, where was I next? One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Well, hello out there in the live streaming land. Streaming live to, of course, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. I won't be a baby doll, be your baby doll. I won't be a baby doll, be your baby doll. Alright. Next thing here, I want to open up some links out of my show notes so I can talk about them. Because we got some late breaking news. I want to talk about here at the top of the show. Don't turn around. Oh, no. Shut up, the commissar in town. Oh no. Alright, I think got my chickens squared away here. Alright. A one, a two. Well, this is how we do. Tonight, the Game Awards happened. Boba Fett is no hero. Blue Beetle goes to theaters. Carnage at 30. And remembering author Anne Rice. All that and more on this end of the year edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Multiverse Tonight, episode 153. And of course, we're continuing this, one episode for all edition of the show. I think this is probably the way I'm going to go forward for a while until, I think there might be weeks in which I do split it into two episodes because there's a ton of news. Like I have 16 pages of news. So, I might split it back into two for just that, but I think this might be the way to go. I mean, it seems like there's the downloads have been positive, so we're going to give this a shot for a while. But we're going to begin tonight. By the way, Merry Christmas if that's what you celebrate, or Happy Kwanzaa, everything. Christmas isn't big for me. I'm just happy that I get a 3-day weekend this year. My wife and I took some Christmas pictures with our puppy, and if you want to go see those, you can head on over to probably our YouTube, Instagram, or Twitter accounts. So, not a lot to start out, personally for me. So, let's start out with a little late breaking news. Let's start out with the box office report for this past weekend. This past weekend was huge, as Spider-Man No Way Home came out and blew the year's box office away. So I want to start out noting on the chart here. At number 12, Venom Let There Be Carnage. So far, it's gotten a yearly gross of $212 million. Dune came at number 11 with $106 million for the year. Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City dropped from 6 to 10. Clifford the Big Red Dog went from 7 to 9. Eternals, Marvel's Eternals, went from number 5 to number 8. It's made $163.5 million. Pushpa The Rise Part 1, which I've never heard of, came at number 7, debuted at number 7. It was only in 400 theaters and made $1.3 million. House of Gucci went from 4 to 6. It brought an additional $1.8 million to make $44 million, about $45 million, respectable. Guillermo del Toro's Nightmare Alley debuted at number 5 with $2.9 million. Ghostbusters Afterlife dropped from 3 to 4. It brought in an additional $3.4 million, giving it $117.2 million total gross. A West Side Story fell from number 1 to number 3. So everyone went to see West Side Story last week, didn't see it this week. It brought in an additional $3.4 million, making its total so far $17.9 million. And Canto stayed at number 2 with $6.5 million. It's brought in $81.5 million. And the number 1 movie worldwide, not just the United States, Spider-Man No Way Home, brought in $260 million gross at 4,336 theaters, which averages out to 59,963. So it's not only the best in the United States, it's the best in the world. Internationally, it was number 1 in United Kingdom, Mexico, Spain, Ecuador, Turkey, Australia, Brazil, France, Russia, Italy, all the countries. So it did bank. Now, one thing we want to point out here is for the year. Now, we still have a little over a week in the year, right? So it can still bring in more, but the top 10 movies of 2021 so far, and subject to change, of course. Ghostbusters Afterlife came at number 10. Free Guy came at number 9. A Quiet Place Part 2 came at number 8. No Time to Die came in at number 7. Marvel's Eternals came in at number 6. F9 The Fast Saga came in at number 5. Black Widow came in at number 4. Venom Let There Be Carnage with $212.4 million came in at number 3. Shang-Chi The Legend of the Ten Rings came in at number 2 with $224.5 million. And of course, Spider-Man No Way Home so far $260 million. So Spider-Man No Way Home came in at the end of the year to win the domestic box office for 2021. Now, it broke all the box office records. This is a article from the Hollywood Reporter. Spider-Man No Way Home shattered numerous records in its box office debut, and it's the first Hollywood release of the COVID-19 era to achieve blockbuster status, even as worries about the Omicron variant grow. The Sony movie, made in partnership with Disney Marvel Studios, grossed a staggering $600.8 million in its worldwide debut, including a weekend launch of $260 million in North America and $340.8 million overseas, per Sony numbers released Monday morning. If all goes planned, the film will be the first title in 2 years to clear the $1 billion mark at the global box office by the end of its run. Another tidbit, 9 out of 10 moviegoers turned out to watch The Web Slinger, according to the analytics firm Intelligink. And it initially was released that it was the third biggest opening or opening in North America. It's now the second biggest domestic debut of all time. Avengers Endgame, of course, tops that with $357 million. No Way Home just edged out Avengers Infinity War to place second. Followed by Infinity War is Star Wars The Force Awakens, Star Wars The Last Jedi, and Jurassic World. Is the third biggest worldwide opening of all time. The only higher ones were, of course, of Avengers Endgame, and followed by Avengers Infinity War. It's supplanted the Fate of the Furious to take the number 3 spot, excluding China. It's the biggest December opening of all time, beating out The Force Awakens, which opened to $529 million in 2015. It got an A+ cinema score, which is only the 4th live-action superhero film to receive that audience grade after the Avengers, Black Panther, and Avengers Endgame. And it was the biggest opening of all time in Mexico with a 5-day debut of $32.4 million. The second biggest opening of all time in India for a Hollywood title with $18.2 million. The third biggest opening ever in Australia with $18.7 million. And the 5th biggest in Russia with $17.4 million. Among smaller markets, the biggest number 1 opening weekend ever in Ukraine with $2.4 million, and Turkey with $1.4 million. Upcoming openings, including Japan, are June 7th, while a date in China has yet to be announced. So, bravo, Spider-Man. We're going to get more of them, apparently. Of course, right now, the word is that Tom Holland would really like to take a break. He really wants to, settle down, start a family. So, will he carry on as Spider-Man? Will there be a huge break between number 3 and number 4? That's still to be debated. Now, another bit of news that dropped was a change for the Emmy rules. Comedy and drama series will no longer be categorized by time length. The adjustment addresses the long-standing issue of comedy and drama genres evolution on television that has led to hour-long comedies, dramedies, as well as half-hour series that are more dramatic than comedic, with series like Shameless and Orange is the New Black changing categorization during their runs. Now, a program's length has now been eliminated as criteria for comedy and drama series. Additionally, the TV Academy has extended the no double Oscar Emmy dipping rule they imposed for documentaries in June to original movies. Any film placed on the viewing platform for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences will now be deemed a theatrical motion picture and thus ineligible for Emmy consideration. Now, that would prevent streamers to give some of their movies Emmy consideration if they didn't get the Oscar nomination. Now, the Academy Board of Governors has affirmed that the 2022 Emmy rules and procedures as recommended by the awards committee which also includes changes in the stunts and voiceover categories and expanded entry eligibility for various professionals working on reality programming, animation, and special visual effects. So next year's Emmy Awards will be, interesting because we now have different rules that some of those are operating under. Now, that is all for the late breaking news. Let's go on to the Star Trek news. Now, the Game Awards happened, and with it, news of a brand new Star Trek game. Star Trek Resurgence was revealed. This third-person narrative adventure game is being developed by Dramatic Labs, a new independent developer comprised of Telltale Games veterans. The game will launch in the spring of 2022 for Xbox, Xbox S, Xbox S, Xbox One as well, and PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC via the Epic Games Store. Star Trek Resurgence is specifically set in the time after the events of the Next Generation and sees players take on the roles of First Officer Jar Rydek and engineering crew person Carter Diaz aboard the USS Resolute. Players are tasked with solving a mystery around two alien civilizations on the brink of war, and the title will feature new and returning Star Trek characters throughout. Kevin Bruner, founder of Dramatic Labs, said in a statement, quote, "As fans of Star Trek, it's truly an honor to be crafting a story which puts players right in the heart of the action, where significant choices and decisions will affect the entire narrative. Built from the ground up using Epic's Unreal Engine and our proprietary narrative engine, this game showcases our team's evolution in creating thought-provoking, story-rich adventures." Unquote. Now, Paramount Plus is launching a set of live streaming channels, so there's always something on the streaming service to watch. Now, here's a full rundown of those 18 channels. There's 24/7 Laughs, which is a comedy channel. The adult animation channel will feature Beavis and Butthead, Celebrity Deathmatch, and Daria. The all-day drama channel will have shows like Evil, The Twilight Zone, Touched by an Angel, and The Guardian. Animation favorites will be more kids-centric, with Avatar: The Last Airbender, Rugrats, SpongeBob SquarePants, and The Fairly Odd Parents. Black Voices will be a celebration of black voices and stories with a collection of popular series like Chappelle's Show, Key and Peele, The Game, and The Neighborhood. Crime and Justice will feature your primetime procedurals like Bull, Blue Bloods, CSI Miami, MacGyver, SEAL Team, and The Good Wife. History and Undiscovered will be a curated selection from historians at the Smithsonian Channel, including Sacred Sites, Secrets, America's Hidden Stories, and Secrets Unlocked. Kids and Family Fun will have shows like Henry Danger, iCarly, The Thundermans, and Zoe 101. Nostalgic Hits will be a playlist featuring episodes from series like Beverly Hills 90210, Cheers, Frasier, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Wings. There'll be a Paw Patrol channel, which, it's a Paw Patrol channel. You don't need more explanation. There's the Preschooler Corner, which has Blue's Clues, Bubble Guppies, Dora the Explorer. A reality TV competition show, which has, reality shows. Reality TV Shores, which has all the Jersey Shore, Florida, Bama Shore nonsense. There's the SpongeBob Universe channel, which has nothing but SpongeBob SquarePants. The Star Trek channel, which, you guessed it, has nothing but Star Trek. So the Survivor channel, which has the 40 seasons of Survivor. Still can't believe there's 40 seasons of Survivor. That's just mind-blowing. The TV Classics channel, which has shows like I Love Lucy, The Love Boat, and The Twilight Zone. So, check your local listings. Ba-dum-bum. Star Trek Discovery writer and producer Kalinda Vasquez is moving on to Netflix. Kalinda has signed a multi-year deal in which she will write, create, and produce series and other projects. Her first one is a young adult drama thriller called Arbor Hall. Arbor Hall centers on a Latinx teenager whose best friend vanishes from the campus of their exclusive boarding school. As she investigates, she discovers an underbelly at the school that's far darker than just money and privilege. Vasquez, who's named after a character on the original series, is a writer and consulting producer on Paramount's Star Trek Discovery, and she's also She's also writing a Star Trek feature film for Paramount Pictures and Bad Robot, and adapting the sci-fi novel Road Marks for HBO with George R.R. Martin executive producing. And that does it for the Star Trek news. Let's go to Star Wars news now.
Roger, Roger.
Boba Fett series star Ming-Na Wen says that you should change how you view the series, saying that the series is more Sonny Corleone than The Man with No Name. Wen, speaking with Entertainment Weekly, described the series as, quote, "If The Mandalorian is a planet-hopping, gunslinging western, then Boba Fett is more like a take on gangster movies, less The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, more The Godfather," unquote. Well, they also spoke about the dynamic between her Fennec and Morrison's Fett, saying, quote, "I like Fennec and Boba are bonded because both of them had near-death experiences. They're both bounty hunters, and they do adhere to a certain level of respect and honor. He saved her, and there's a debt to be paid, and bounty hunters honor their debt," unquote. Now, more Game Award news was that a new Star Wars game from Quantic Dreams, known for PlayStation games like Detroit Becomes Human, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls, was announced. According to the official pitch for the game, which is called Star Wars Eclipse, is, quote, "Set during the High Republic era, Star Wars Eclipse is an intricately branching action-adventure game that can be experienced in many ways and puts the destinies of multiple playable characters in your hands. Created in collaboration between Quantic Dream and Lucasfilm Games," unquote. Now, as of right now, there's no word on what platforms the game will be on or when this game will be released. And that takes us to the end of the Star Wars news for today. Let's go on to the Marvel news. Marvel Comics is celebrating the 30th anniversary of Carnage with a new ongoing series from Ram V and artist Francesco Manna. The comic will take place after the events of Carnage Forever, an anthology one-shot releasing in February, and sees Carnage looking for a new person to bond with after leaving Cletus Cassidy. In a statement, Ram V said, quote, "This Carnage story is very likely to become the most twisted thing I've written. The killer symbiote has gone through some pretty significant changes in recent times, and I've been left with an opportunity to do something new and incentivize with the character and the kind of stories you might expect to find in a Carnage book. This is my kind of horror, as frightening in its implications as it is on the page. This is a devilishly scary Carnage, and he's setting out to discover just where the bounds of his abilities really lie. Pity those caught in his wake. The Marvel Universe is not ready for what Carnage is turning into," unquote. Carnage Forever is debuting on March 2nd, 2022. I Am Groot will be out on Disney Plus in 2022. Here's a list of everything else coming to Disney Plus that in this next year. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Zootopia Plus, Willow, Marvel's Moon Knight, Hocus Pocus 2, The Book of Boba Fett, Marvel's Ms. Marvel, National Geographic's Limitless with Chris Hemsworth, Disenchanted, The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, Marvel's I Am Groot, The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, Pinocchio, Marvel's She-Hulk, Cheaper by the Dozen, High School Musical, The Series, Season 3, Better Nathan Never, Star Wars Andor, Rise, National Geographic's The World According to Jeff Goldblum, Season 2, Disney Pixar's Cars on the Road, Sneakerella, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, Baymax, National Geographic's America the Beautiful, Star Wars, The Bad Batch, Season 2, Free Guy, and Marvel's Eternals. So that's something to look forward to. Let's go on to the DC Comics news. The Blue Beetle movie will be going to theaters first before going to HBO Max at a much later date. The movie had originally been scheduled as a straight-to HBO Max release. However, now it will have a theatrical premiere. The date has been set of August 18th, 2023. Batman and Superman are teaming back up in March with Batman Superman World Finest #1. In the comics, quote, "The Dark Knight, the Man of Steel. They are the two finest superheroes that the world has ever known. And they're together again in an epic new series from the legendary talents of Mark Waid and Dan Mora. In the not-too-distant past, Superman's powers are supercharged from a devastating chemical attack by the villain Metallo, and the only ally that the ultra-powerful Man of Tomorrow can turn to in this turbulent hour is Gotham's own dark vengeance, the Batman. A nearly fatal burst of power drives Batman to his own extreme measures to help his friend, enlisting none other than the Doom Patrol for aid. It's the world's greatest superheroes from the world's greatest comic book talent in an epic comic book experience that kicks off the next big events in the DCU. Get ready, it's time to soar. Batman Superman World's Finest #1 releases on March 15th, 2022. The CW is working on a Gotham Knights TV series. The show will follow Bruce Wayne's son as he teams up with the children of various Batman villains following the death of Batman. Quote, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for killing the Caped Crusader. And as the city's most wanted criminals, this renegade band of misfits must fight to clear their names. But in a Gotham with no Dark Knight to protect it, the city descends into the most dangerous it's ever been. However, hope comes from the most unexpected places, as this team of mismatched fugitives will become its new next generation of saviors. Gotham Knights will be produced by Warner Brothers Television and Berlanti Productions, as is the case with other DC series on the CW. Five Ash, Starro, and Abrams are writing the script, while Five Ash and Starro will exec produce with Greg Berlanti, Sarah Schechter, and David Madden of Berlanti Productions. Abrams will serve as co-executive producer. Five Ash and Starro currently serve as executive producers on Batwoman and have credits on Gotham, Krypton, and The Vampire Diaries. Abrams has written for Batwoman, Supergirl, and All American on the CW. And a little bit more Game Awards news. At the Game Awards, a brand new Wonder Woman video game was announced. Now, Monolith and Warner Brothers Interactive promised that Wonder Woman will be a single-player, open-world action-adventure game that will tell an original story set within the DC universe. The game will allow players to become Diana of Themyscira in a fight to unite her Amazon family along with the humans from the modern world. Wonder Woman will be powered by Monolith's Nemesis system, and gamers will forge deep connections with both enemies and allies as they progress from a heroic fighter into a proven leader. Now, no formats or release dates have been announced. And let's go on to the geek news. American Dad will be around for at least 2 more seasons on TBS. Seth MacFarlane's sophomore series will have a season 8 and 19. According to TNet, the series is the 3rd most popular comedy on cable. Executive producer Matt Weitzman said about the renewal, quote, we're all so grateful to TBS for this 2-season pickup. Getting seasons 18 and 19 means we will finally be able to tell the stories we only dreamed of telling in seasons 16 and 17. Many thanks to everyone at 20th Television Animation and for all their continued support of American Dad's many years of corrupting our nation's, nay, the world's youth, most of whom are now about to turn 40. Unquote. The Goonies are apparently good enough for Disney+, as Variety broke the news that the streaming service is working on a series called Our Time, which focuses on a teacher who helps her students recreate shot-for-shot the Goonies movie. The series was previously in development for Fox, but the network passed on it, reportedly skewing too young. Here's the blurb, quote, in Our Time, after failing to make it in New York and carrying a heavy secret with her, Stella Cooper returns to her distressed automobile town to substitute teach. She finds inspiration, hope, and ultimately salvation when she agrees to help 3 students who are pursuing their filmmaking dreams by putting on an impossibly ambitious shot-for-shot remake of one of their favorite movies, The Goonies. Over the course of the season of the potential series, their passion will inspire a town in desperate need of hopes in this love letter to the power of cinema, storytelling, and dreams. Unquote. Good Omens has announced more cast members for its 2nd season. John Hamm will be back as Gabriel, and he'll be joining Don McCacken's Michael and Gloria Albano's Uriel. Hattie, Ham will be joined by New Angels Liz Carr from Devs, who plays Seroquel, and Quaylen Sepulveda from Havoc as Muriel. Shelley Kahn from Bridgerton also joins as a key character from Hell. Season 2, which is now filming in Scotland, will explore storylines that go beyond the original book, including a closer look at the friendship between fussy angel Aziraphale and fast-living demon Crowley. Neil Gaiman said about Jon Hamm coming back, quote, "Good Omens 2 just would not be the same without the astonishing Jon Hamm as Gabriel, everyone's worst boss," said Neil Gaiman. He went on to say, "The story that Terry Pratchett and I created all those years ago continues to take us from London Soho into heaven and hell. It's a delight for me to bring back characters we loved or hated, and bring in new characters from the shiniest top floors of heaven to the dankest basements of hell. To love or to hate, or to love to hate, or hate to love, all of them are part of the strange and unusually beloved family of Good Omens." Unquote. Danny Elfman will be reteaming with Tim Burton to compose a theme for Netflix's upcoming Wednesday series. The series, directed by Burton, is a live-action comedic coming-of-age tale focusing on Wednesday Addams' teenage years. In addition to the theme, Elfman will be working on the score alongside fellow composer Chris Bacon. The series' logline reads, "The series is a sleuthing supernatural-infused mystery charting Wednesday Addams' years as a student at Nevermore Academy. Wednesday attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart a monstrous killing spree that has terrorized the local town, and solve the supernatural mystery that embroiled her parents 25 years ago, all while navigating her new and very tangled relationships at Nevermore." Wednesday will star Jenna Ortega, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Louise Guzman, Gwendolyn Christie, Hunter Doohan, Percy Haynes-White, Joy Sunday, Emma Myers, Ricky Landholm, Jamie McShane, Georgie Farmer, Naomi Ogawa, and Musa Mustafa. Unquote. Netflix is teaming up with Jim Mickley, co-creator of Sweet Tooth, for an adaptation of the comic God Country. God Country, written by Donny Cates, centers on Omid Quinlan, an old widower afflicted by dementia and violent outbursts. When a tornado hits his West Texas town, Quinlan is rejuvenated thanks to an enchanted sword he finds in the wreckage. But now he must use it to protect his family and what remains of the town against terrifying otherworldly creatures seeking its power. Now, Cates is best known for his popular work on Marvel's various Venom comics. He wrote the 6-issue series with Jeff Shaw handling art. Published in 2017 by Image Comics, the first issue went through 4 printings before being collected in a trade paperback. Robert Kirkman's Skybound is currently in talks to acquire the G.I. Joe and Transformers license for comic books. Now, currently, those Hasbro licenses sit with IDW since the mid-2000s. Now, Kirkman is a fan of toy brands and has been said to be personally involved in the quest for these licenses. If the deal goes through, new books would not hit the shelves until 2023. Now, looking ahead to 2022, here are the Internet Movie Database's most anticipated movies and series for 2022. At number 1 is The Batman, followed by Scream, Thor: Love and Thunder, Top Gun: Maverick, Killers of the Flower Moon, Jurassic World Dominion, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse Madness, Mission Impossible 7, Uncharted, and The Flash. And the top 10 most anticipated news series of 2022 are House of the Dragon, The Lord of the Rings, Pam and Tommy, The Sandman, The Last of Us, Obi-Wan Kenobi, She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Peacemaker, and Moon Knight. And IMDb's most anticipated returning series of 2022 are Ted Lasso, Bridgerton, American Horror Story, Peaky Blinders, The Mandalorian, Shadow and Bone, Stranger Things, Rick and Morty, The Crown, and The Boys. And finally tonight, author Anne Rice has passed away. Now, Anne is known best for the book Interview with a Vampire, which sold more than 150 million copies since its release in 1976, and was made into a movie in 1994 starring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. The book, penned while she was grieving over the loss of her daughter to leukemia, has since been reprised as a key text in modern vampire genre and spawned 11 sequels collectively known as the Vampire Chronicles. Now, Rice's other work include 2 historical novels, The Feast of All Saints and Cried to Heaven, along with 3 erotic novels, The Claiming of Sleeping Beauty, Beauty's Punishment, and Beauty's Release, under the pseudonym A.N. Roquelaure, and 2 more under the pseudonym Anne Rumpling, Exit to Eden, and Belinda. Rice then returned to the vampire genre with The Vampire Lestat and The Queen of the Damned, her best-selling sequels to Interview with the Vampire. Now, shortly after her 1988 return to New Orleans, Rice penned The Witching Hour as an expression of her joy at coming home. Rice also continued her Vampire Chronicles series, which later grew to encompass 10 novels and followed up on The Witching Hour with Lasher and Talatos, completing the lives of the Mayfair Witches trilogy. She also published Violin, A Tale of Ghostly Haunting in 1997, and Rice appeared on an episode of The Real World New Orleans that aired in 2000. Rice did a series of religious books, Christ the Lord of Egypt, Christ the Lord, The Road to Cana, and Christ the Lord, Kingdom of Heaven, Angel, Time, and of Love and Evil, and her memoir called Out of Darkness, A Spiritual Confession. On March 9th, 2014, Rice announced that on her son Christopher's radio show, The Dinner Party with Christopher Rice and Eric John Quinn, that she had completed another book in the Vampire Chronicles titled Prince Lestat, a true sequel to Queen of the Damned. The book was released on October 28th, 2014, and in 2015, a sequel to the Sleeping Beauty trilogy, Beauty's Kingdom, was released. Now, this past August, AMC announced they were making a new Interview with the Vampire series, and a couple of weeks back, they also started working on a series based on her book series, The Lives of the Mayfair Witches. Anne was married to poet and painter Stan Rice for 41 years until his death from brain cancer in 2002. They had 2 children, Christopher and Michelle, who, Michelle, of course, preceded her death. Anne Rice died from complications of a stroke at a hospital in Rancho Mirage, California on December 11th at the age of 80. She will be missed. And that brings us to the end of the news for this week. Now, please be sure to check us out on social media. We're, of course, at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute to the show, check out the show notes, visit our TeePublic store, and so much more. Head on over to multiversetonight.com. And if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. That's very helpful. Be sure to share us with your friends, though. And if you're brand new to the show, I doubly thank you. Please be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button. Leave some feedback if you'd like, and let me know how we're doing. Again, I can't really change anything unless I know what bothers you. Now, special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Thanks for watching this edition of Multiverse Tonight. Now, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with a brand new sci-fi and comic book edition. Now, please be sure to exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2021. All rights reserved. And have a happy New Year. Alright, folks, well, these cans pressed down my ear, which causes my earpiece on the glasses to press down and press it into my side of my head, which, after 30 minutes gets kind of painful. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get up. I'm going to go run some errands, come back, exit, make the podcast for the week, post the episode. It'll probably go up tomorrow morning. And then, I'm going to go back. I have to work Christmas Eve, Luckily, I have to come in. They're making us come in early because we're closing at like 6. So I work from 10 to 7. So I'll have the evening off, and I'll have a 3-day weekend, and then it's usual right back to work. Ugh, excuse me. So hopefully this next Sunday, we'll go out to the movie to see see Spider-Man. We also want to see the new Matrix movie. That I think is going to be interesting to see if the new Matrix movie cuts in to Spider-Man, or if Spider-Man just bulldozes the Matrix. That'll be kind of interesting. I think that the Matrix is going to be hurt a little bit by the fact that it is being co-released on HBO Max. This is like the last one that they're going to do. But it might help the film because with the pandemic, jumping back into Omicron, which by the way, if you have not gone to Paramount Plus and watched the last 2 South Park COVID specials, go watch that.